And why don't we go ahead and touch on a little high school baseball here on Stream City Radio, streamcity.org. And welcome to the baseball standings for the week of 3/30, week number 8 in the high school baseball schedule. And start out with Region 2 6A, big week for the Carrollton Trojans as they sweep East Coweta. East Coweta looked pretty good coming into this thing, but they lose a bunch of close ball games, and now Carrollton in firm control of first place in the region. East Carolina all but mathematically has things wrapped up in the 2 spot. The only game they've got left are 3 against a Douglas County team that is 1-15 overall and 0-6 in region play. So pretty much, unless something crazy happens, Carrollton did lose to Westlake, but they'd have to lose 3 more ball games for East Coweta to pass them. And East Coweta likely will sweep Douglas County, but that's where we find ourselves at. And that one, Chapel Hill and Westlake are sitting in the 3rd and 4th spots. Of course, East Coweta 15-5 overall, 6-3 in region play. Carrollton 11-8 overall, 5-1 in region play. And like I said, it's that sweep over East Coweta that right now has them sitting in great shape. Chapel Hill sitting in 3rd. They are 3-3 in region play. They will play, let's see, they get Westlake this week, so this is going to really hash out the pecking order in the region. They will play at Westlake on Thursday, and then they've got a doubleheader on Thursday that will be played at Chapel Hill. Westlake, the 4th seed right now, 13-7, 4-5 overall. They've swept Douglas County, got swept by East Coweta, and took 1 out of the 3 from Carrollton. So that's all pretty well going to be settled this week as East Coweta plays a non-region schedule. Douglas County takes on Carrollton, likely are going to get swept out of the park. So that's kind of where we're at in Region 2 6A. Region 3 5A, a little bit more intrigue going on here as we had some interesting games last week. We'll start out with Northgate. Right now they're 7-0 in region play, 19-2 overall. They will play Morrow this afternoon on Monday. They will play Langston Hughes on Wednesday and Friday. Langston Hughes currently sitting next to, they technically are last in the region as Banneker playing a non-region schedule. So Lovejoy and, Northgate in great shape there. Noonan split with McIntosh last week, and with McIntosh already being swept by Northgate, they have a leg up in region play, although Noonan still has Northgate to play, so that could be very interesting. They play Lovejoy, which is actually a big ball game. Lovejoy still with an opportunity to make the playoffs in the region. They'll play them on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday and Friday, they have Morrow. So they should sweep Morrow, I would suspect, and I like them against Lovejoy. They do have them at home. They've already beat them on the road. So there you go. With that, McIntosh sitting in at 3rd spot, giving themselves some hope with the split from Noonan. They will be big-time Cougar fans when they square off with Northgate coming up. Although the reality is, if Noonan were to drop a game and get swept by Northgate, that might actually be better for McIntosh in the grand scheme of things, as the Chiefs come in here 6-3 in region play, 8-13 overall, and with sweeps against Morrow, Langston Hughes. They've split with Dutchtown. They're 1-0 against Dutchtown. They play Dutchtown this afternoon. That will be our Stream City game of the day, True Natural Gas game of the day, will be Dutchtown at McIntosh. So that's a big game this afternoon. McIntosh could pretty well cement their position as the 3 seed and definitely cement their position as a playoff team with a win against Dutchtown this afternoon. So that one will be interesting. Right now, technically, Lovejoy sitting in the 5 spot at 4-3 in region play. They have not played the people Dutchtown has played. Dutchtown really with only a shot. If they were to win today against McIntosh, they've got an outside shot at the 3 seed, but would have a great shot at the 4 seed with a win this afternoon. Would not be out of the question if they lose, because they still have a doubleheader. I mean, they've still got 2 games against Lovejoy, and that could very well settle who the 4th seed is. But right now, Lovejoy at 4-3 in region play, Dutchtown at 4-5 in region play. So they've played 2 more region games, and they've played more of the teams from the top half of this thing. Morrow at 0-7 in region play. Technically not mathematically eliminated, but getting very, very close. A loss this afternoon to who do they play this afternoon? Northgate, which will very likely happen, would make them mathematically eliminated. Hughes is mathematically eliminated at 4-16 and 0-8 in region play. So kind of starting to get down to it. 6 teams will likely be alive at the end of the day, but once that McIntosh-Dutchtown game comes in, it's going to start clearing the picture up quite a bit for the region. And then moving on to Region 3, 4A, we know who's in the playoffs. It's Starrs Mill, it's Harris County, it's Northside, and it is Central of Carroll. They're your playoff teams because they've all swept Griffin, Jonesboro, Mundy's Mill. So the question is, what's the pecking order going to be? They all play a round robin against each other over the next few weeks. Starrs Mill took 2 out of 3 early in the week, last week against Northside. Northside averted the sweep by going and getting a huge victory at Starrs Mill on Friday night. So Starrs Mill sits at 11-1 region play, 16-4 overall. Harris County with an identical 11-1 record as they took 2 out of 3 from Central. So they sit there. They will play a non-region schedule this week. Starrs Mill will actually play a 3-game set against Central this week. So another 2 out of 3, and you're in great shape if you're because Central looking good as well. Them and Northside both 10-2 in region play. Northside, much like Harris County, playing a non-region schedule this week. So we're going to get a little more separation this week with Central and Starrs Mill, although if Central takes 2 out of 3, that'd really gum up the works and kind of pull everybody tighter together. So it's going to be an interesting last couple weeks. I think we've got 3 weeks left in the season. It's going to be interesting as we go down the stretch in that region. Griffin, a non-region schedule this week. They did take 2 out of 3 from Jonesboro to slide firmly into 5th place. And Mundy's Mill has not played Jonesboro or Griffin this week. They square off with Jonesboro in a 3-game set this week. Region 2, 3A, where we find the Troop Tigers right up on top, 10-0 in region play, 19-3 overall. They have Upson Lee on Thursday and Friday this week. Then Whitewater right behind them at 9-0 in region play, 15-6 overall. They will play Fayette County on Tuesday, and then a big series against Trinity on Thursday and Friday. Trinity currently sitting in 3rd place, although there's a big jumble between really 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But if you look at what's left, there's still plenty of hope for a Mary Persons team sitting right behind that pack. Record not as good right now, but when you look at what's left, it could get very interesting down the stretch. Trinity, huge game against Sandy Creek on Tuesday. They dropped the game last Friday, 2-1 decision. Big win for Sandy Creek as Trinity looks to earn a playoff spot, as does Sandy Creek. So they've got the Tuesday game against Sandy Creek and then that big series against Whitewater, which they really need to try and get a split to stay ahead of LaGrange and Sandy Creek and potentially Mary Persons. A sweep would put them in 2nd place. If they get swept, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble potentially for the playoffs. We'll just have to see how that plays out because it is a big pack there. LaGrange and Sandy Creek both with a 6-5 region record. Sandy Creek will take on, as I said, Tuesday afternoon, big game at Trinity. Then they go into non-region play. We will have them on Thursday as a host East Coweta. And then you have Mary Persons, who's only 3-6 in region play. but it's who they have left that gives them the possibility. It's Upson Lee, it's Spalding, it's Fayette County. So the bottom 3 teams, they could rack up 9 more wins before the season's out, and likely will do that. Upson Lee with the one team that might have a shot to maybe earn a split with them. But you couldn't have it laid out any better for you if you're Mary Persons. So don't sleep on them just yet, as they've still got an opportunity to insert themselves well into this, and could before the week's out. As you figure the win, if they can get a win against LaGrange, they beat them last week. Now, they've been much better at home than they have been on the road. They are at LaGrange. So that one, you probably favor the Grangers a little bit in that. But then after that, it is a Thursday-Friday matchup with Spalding. You got to like them in both those ball games. And that's kind of where we're at. Spalding and Fayette County, both out of the playoff race at 2-9 and 0-9. Upson Lee with that same 3-6 record that Mary Persons got, but they've got a few more challenges ahead of them than does Mary Persons. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be a good race in that region as Region 2-3A gets things squared away. That is your look at high school baseball this week from Stream City Radio, streamcity.org, and our game of the day this afternoon, True Natural Gas game of the day. Don't forget, a big one from McIntosh High School as Dutchtown takes on McIntosh, and it has huge implications for the playoffs, pecking order, or even a playoff spot at all, especially if you're Dutchtown in that ball game, presented by Coweta Fayette EMC. That live at 5:55. So if you're watching the second version of this, about to come your way, just hang on just a moment. Stuart Crosby will take care of you. Hope you enjoyed the show this afternoon, my friends. We'll catch you again on Friday for the College Drive. We will catch you on Thursday for the College Football Fix. And we're going to continue on Stream City Sports to drop the sports pilgrimage shorts. So enjoy your week, my friends.